Hello, my name is Grady Wolf and I'm excited to bring our next guest to the From the Helm series live at the Resources Rising Stars Conference. Lucky to be joined by Chris MacKinnon from Chalice Mining. You're the CFO. Tell us a little bit about the recent update you've given to the market about the major resource upgrade at the Gonneville deposit. What does this entail and how significant is it to Chalice?
What it entails is effectively a 50% upgrade to our resource.
Oh wow.
So we now have 560 million tonnes at an average grade of 0.54% nickel equivalent. That translates to 3 million tonnes of nickel equivalent, making it one of the largest, the second largest undeveloped nickel sulphide resource in Australia, and also the largest undeveloped nickel sulphide resource that's not owned by a major.
For those who don't understand what nickel's uses are in this current green movement and in the commodity space, what is the basic use of nickel in the current day and age?
Yeah, well, in the current day and age, it's used for a range of things, such as a lot of infrastructure. But the key usage that it will have going forward is in batteries for electric vehicles. And there's simply not enough nickel out there to meet the demands for electric vehicles going forwards.
Now, speaking of this, the significance of the NiPGE deposit at Gonneville puts Chalice in a really strong position, given we are seeing the use of PGE nickel in lithium batteries, cobalt, and the hydrogen fuel cell production value chain. Now, how does this bolster Chalice's operations, and what does it change, if anything?
Yeah, well, we've talked about nickel and cobalt and how that's used in electric vehicles going forward. PGMs is currently used for catalytic converters, but it's likely to be used where it will be used for the hydrogen economy. So that's for fuel cells as the catalyst metal. And what we're likely to see is a huge amount of demand, a wave of demand going for those metals going forwards. And the supply for things like PGMs and nickel is controlled by countries such as Russia. And having these metals in Australia makes it very strategic for Australia. And that's likely to affect our operations in a positive way because it will have a lot of government support, both from Australia and also OECD countries, plus a lot of demand from OEMs and battery manufacturers who are just desperate for this metal and will be looking for highly favourable offtake terms for us.
Absolutely. Now, following the latest resource update, how are the strategic partnerships processing through?
Yeah, so we only just kicked off the strategic partnering process, and that's because we had a lot of unsolicited demand from OEMs who are approaching us. So on the back of that, and given the unique style of the resource, we decided to open up this process to OEMs, but also many major global mining companies. We now have, we've just opened up the data room. We have 20 to 30 parties, a lot of high caliber companies in there. The process is likely to take 6 to 12 months, and we hope to have a transaction announced within that period, providing that we see shareholder value through either technical or operational input or offtake arrangements.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned before that you did a capital raise last week. How much was it? How much is going towards this, and what's the end use of this capital raise?
Yeah, so last week we were effectively tapped on the shoulder by a few major funds, and we raised $70 million in an institutional placement at a very moderate discount. As part of that, we're also doing a share purchase plan for existing retail shareholders, and that will open on Friday, so encourage all retail shareholders to participate in that.
Absolutely.
This comes at an important time because it allows us to strengthen our balance sheet just as we commence the strategic partnering process. I mentioned that might take 6 to 12 months, so it's important to have a strong balance sheet to allow us to keep our foot on the gas with developing Gonneville and exploring the wider region.
Absolutely. Now, there are a few upcoming catalysts that we've kind of touched on, starting with updates from the resource infill and extension drill out program at the Gonneville deposit. When do you expect these catalysts to be achieved?
Yeah, so our current focus is deeper step outs at Gonneville, and also we've got some exciting holes to put at the south of Gonneville where we think it might extend further into the Chalice owned farmland. So that, in the next couple of months we'll expect to see. We've also ramping up drilling along the Julimar complex in Q3, late Q3, Q4. And then we've also identified 6 priority targets across the West Yilgarn region, where we'll be looking to put some holes in that Q3, Q4 as well. On top of that, we've got updates from our scoping and feasibility study process, and then also the strategic partnering process. So there's a lot of news flow coming and lots of catalysts for a re-rate.
It's an exciting time for Chalice, that's for sure. So final question, why should an investor consider Chalice as their next investment decision?
Okay, well, we have a world-class project in Gonaville, which is only 1 hour out of Perth, and it has the largest undeveloped nickel sulfide resource, which is highly in demand by buyers all over the world. We have a team with a high performance standard and a track record for rewarding shareholders, 5,000% shareholder return to date for Chalice. And we have an amazing exploration package, which we'll be drilling over the next couple of years, where we hope to find many more Gonaville-like discoveries.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for your time today, and we can't wait to follow the Chalice journey over the next year and beyond.
Thank you so much, Grady.